What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we're here at the voice of college football. If you're a Tennessee fan, please subscribe to our Tennessee channel. If you're an SEC fan, please subscribe to our SEC channel. We're going to preview the 2022 schedule for Tennessee. Before we get into 2022, let's look back at 2021. This was the schedule and the results from 2021 for Tennessee. You can see a 7-5 record. They had Bowling Green, Pittsburgh, Tennessee Tech, and South Alabama in the non-conference. So 3 pretty easy wins there, and then Pittsburgh wound up beating them. They'll play Pittsburgh again this year. We'll show you that schedule in just a second. They had to play Ole Miss and Alabama, and it's a disadvantage for Tennessee having to play Alabama every year out of the West. Just like with Auburn, they have to play Georgia out of the East every year. So it makes the schedule much tougher. Let's look now at 2022 for Tennessee. And before we go game by game, let's look at who they play outside of the division. They'll play Ball State on the road at Pittsburgh, Akron, and UT Martin in the non-conference. So yes, Kenny Pickett is gone from Pittsburgh, but this year Tennessee will have to go on the road for that game. So it's kind of a you get this good news, bad news situation there when you look at the schedule. Seeing Pittsburgh this year with no Kenny Pickett, but this year on the road. A winnable game, though, for Tennessee. That'll be a big one in the non-conference. And they'll play LSU on the road, maybe the toughest place to play in the SEC. And, of course, they'll play Alabama. So another tough draw. But I tell you what, there's really no easy draw. If you have to play Alabama, you're not going to get an easy game out of the SEC West for your other game. So, yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. But there's just really not much you're going to get from the SEC West. I mean, I guess you could get Mississippi State or Auburn. Would have been a little easier. We really don't know how good LSU is going to be this year, but playing them on the road obviously going to be very tough, and we'll see. Maybe Tennessee will have a chance to pull off an upset against Alabama. They get that game at home this year. So you look at the schedule. They open up with Ball State on September the 3rd. Then it's on the road at Pitt the next week, Akron on the 17th. 3 non-conference games to start off the season. Then Tennessee will play Florida on September 24th. That'll be a home game. And a revenge game, I guess, for Tennessee after the loss last year. They'll have a good opportunity, I think, to win that game. Then you go into the month of October. They actually get their bye week pretty early. They'll have their bye week before playing on the road at LSU. So 4 games in, then they get a bye week. They'll play LSU on the 8th. Then it's Alabama on the 15th. Get a bit of a break with UT Martin there on October 22nd. Then they'll play Kentucky on October 29th. A home game there for Tennessee. And then Georgia to start off the month of November on the road, Missouri on November 12th, then on the road at South Carolina and on the road at Vanderbilt to finish things out. So 2 road games there to close out the season, but obviously Vanderbilt, you want to play Vanderbilt on the road. You'd rather play Vanderbilt on the road than have to play, Alabama on the road or Florida on the road. So that kind of bodes well for them getting Vandy on the road. If they can get past Georgia, they have a fairly easy finish of the season for SEC standards, that is. Missouri and South Carolina, winnable games. They'll be tough, but winnable games. So, again, the schedule's kind of set up pretty well for them as far as they don't have a bunch of really tough games jammed in together. You have Florida, LSU, and Alabama, those 3 in a row. But remember, they have a bye week before playing on the road at LSU. So, at LSU and Alabama, that's going to be their toughest back-to-back right there. Kentucky and Georgia back-to-back will also be pretty tough. But again, when you have to play Alabama and another team out of the SEC West, you're going to have a tough schedule. They have Pittsburgh on the road as well in the non-conference. So once again, Tennessee with a pretty tough schedule for 2022.